They talk about auditing this, auditing that. If anything is missing, that is going to really be something. But there is a reason that they keep this shrouded in secrecy. There's a reason that they have just blown off senators and congressmen that are requesting a real audit of the Federal Reserve System and the U.S. gold stocks. So, the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, does the Federal Reserve own or hold gold? The answer is simple. No. They own a lien on all of America's gold except 0.04% rounded.
For decades, concerns have surrounded the actual status of U.S. gold reserves, with experts like Mike Maloney of goldsilver.com questioning the Federal Reserve's role. While the Fed does not directly own America's gold, it holds a lien on nearly all of it, raising doubts about its availability and the government's reluctance to allow a full audit. Calls for transparency have gained momentum, with figures like Elon Musk and former President Donald Trump advocating for an official verification of the U.S. gold stockpile. According to an analysis by Lear Capital, an audit of Fort Knox's reported 147 million troy ounces of gold could have profound financial implications. If discrepancies between reported and actual reserves were discovered, or if the government decided to revalue its gold holdings from the outdated $42.22 per ounce to reflect market prices, the impact on global markets could be unprecedented. Additionally, recent unusual gold transfers from London and Switzerland to commodity exchange warehouses in the U.S. may indicate strategic reserve management efforts. The debate over U.S. gold reserves ties back to historical government actions. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued an executive order requiring Americans to surrender their gold in exchange for Federal Reserve notes, effectively replacing real money with paper currency. According to Maloney, the government labeled gold saving as hoarding, while promoting paper currency accumulation as saving, thereby ending public access to sound money. Much of the gold currently held at Fort Knox and other U.S. reserves likely originates from this controversial confiscation. If an audit were to reveal that the total U.S. gold holdings are lower than the official figures, it would raise serious concerns about the integrity of those managing the reserves. Any missing gold would suggest past mismanagement or outright theft, reinforcing fears that America's financial system is built on fragile foundations. Until a full and independent audit is conducted, speculation about the actual state of U.S. gold reserves will continue, leaving the global financial community uncertain. Make sure to tune in for our expert analysis. Don't miss out on future content. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Your support is greatly appreciated.
So moving on, there's something that happened in 2001. The U.S. Mint, the Fiscal Service, and the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve updated reporting procedures when the new demonetization policy became effective in 2001. To effect the demonetization policy, Fiscal Service requested that the Federal Reserve banks redeem gold certificates for 100,000 fine troy ounces of gold. The $42.222, it equals 4 million. But it looks as though, to me, that the Treasury can redeem all of those the gold certificate account by just paying back the 11.37, this number, 4,222,000 is important, as you'll see in just a moment. But if they can buy back the title, the lien on that gold by paying $11.037 billion to the Federal Reserve, I believe. And then we really have the gold. But right now, the gold is not there. Even if it's there, it's not there. There's a lien on it. Somebody else has a lien against America's gold. So here is the Federal Reserve's, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, Federal Reserve Balance Sheet Factors Affecting Reserve Balances. It's the H.4.1 release. And we scroll down here and we can see gold stock, $11.041 billion. That's the entire U.S. gold stock. That's all of America's gold. But if we scroll down to the very bottom of this sheet, you'll see the gold certificate account is $11.037 billion. What's the difference? It's that 4 million $220,222.2222 that they demonetized when the Fed redeemed 100,000 troy ounces. So what percentage is that has not been pledged, that is actually U.S.-owned gold that does not have a lien against it? What percentage is that? So 11,037,000,000 is what percentage of 11,041,000,000? And it is 99.9637. So, this is huge. There's less than 0.04% of the gold that is still owned by the United States of America with no lien against it. It is 0.0362 something or other. This goes on for quite a few digits. So anyway, this is the story of America's gold. They talk about auditing this, auditing that. If anything is missing, that is going to really be something. But there is a reason that they keep this shrouded in secrecy. There's a reason that they have just blown off senators and congressmen that are requesting a real audit of the Federal Reserve System and the U.S. gold stocks.
The U.S. gold reserves stored at Fort Knox have long been debated, with concerns about their origins and current status. In a 1994 article for the Journal of Economic Education, economist William C. Wood noted that the Fort Knox depository is now an artifact of gold standard days. He further explained that the gold came from several sources, including the melting of Depression-era gold coins, lend-lease arrangements during World War II, and government operations under the gold standard. The reference to Depression-era gold coins is particularly significant, as most of these coins were likely those confiscated from private owners following President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 6102 in 1933. This controversial order outlawed the private ownership of gold. Since few Americans owned gold bars, most privately held gold consisted of coins, which were melted down and added to government reserves, including those at Fort Knox. Financial analyst Mike Maloney argues that Roosevelt's actions went beyond economic policy and into constitutional violations. By banning private gold ownership, he effectively ended the public's access to sound money, replacing it with government-issued credit. Let's get back to the interview.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He doesn't look like a criminal, does he? But then again, these politicians never do. So, when he signed the executive order nationalizing, not confiscating, nationalizing all of America's gold, the gold held by the public, it required on or before May 1st, 1933, that all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates, that's going to be important in this video, be turned over to any Federal Reserve Bank branch or agency or to any member bank of the Federal Reserve System. Going further into, this is the American Presidency Project, going into the text, what you see here is, for the purposes of this regulation, the term hoarding shall mean the withdrawal of gold coin, gold bullion, or gold certificates from the recognized customary channels of trade. So, hoarding. I've always found this interesting. They want you to take their promises to pay nothing, their Federal Reserve notes, and hoard them. They call that saving. But if you save gold, you're a nasty hoarder. So, all persons are required to turn it over. Upon the receipt of the gold coin, bullion, or gold certificates delivered to it in accordance with these sections, the Federal Reserve or member bank will pay, therefore, an equivalent amount of any other form of coin or currency coined or issued under the laws of the United States. So they'll take your IOU, the IOUs that you are holding from the government that are IOU something, and they're going to give you an IOU nothing in return for it. And that IOU nothing, a Federal Reserve note, you can always go in and get change, so you can get other Federal Reserve notes for it. But it's not redeemable in anything. When we were in Hong Kong, we were going to do a video. We recorded a video of me going to there's an address of the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank that issues all of the Hong Kong dollars. And I went in there and we filmed trying to redeem it because it says you can bring it to that address and redeem this bill. The teller had no idea what I was talking about. He just didn't get it. It was beyond his imagination. So, was Roosevelt a criminal? Well, I believe that he did something that was treasonous. This is the National Constitution Center. And when you jump down in the Constitution to Article 1 contains all the most important stuff that the framers of the Constitution thought should be in there. This is what they wanted to communicate to future generations. And it says, no state shall, and then emit bills of credit. Well, what is a Federal Reserve note? What is bank credit? Or make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So the only thing that can be used as money is money, not credit. That is specifically what this is saying. And Roosevelt outlawed money, violating the Constitution. I believe he committed treason. I believe that Roosevelt was a master criminal, basically.
The debate over the true status of U.S. gold reserves remains unresolved, fueling ongoing concerns about transparency and financial accountability. With historical policies shaping today's monetary landscape and calls for an official audit growing louder, questions about the actual availability of these reserves persist. If discrepancies were uncovered, the implications could ripple across global markets, shaking confidence in the financial system. Should greater transparency in gold reserves be a priority for economic stability, or would an audit create more uncertainty in global markets? Share your perspective in the comment section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.